studying English literature, we have to know the history of English literature. It is mandatory. Like as the human beings, as we developed, evolved through ages, periods, so also English literature developed through ages. English language, then literature. And at first, the place, the land, the country where the language first flourished, we have to know. And for this reason, we have to go back to Britain, at the northwestern coast of continental Europe, an island surrounded by water, a small island. Here, from the glacial period we will start. From the glacial period in Britain, when there was no human habitation, the Britain was totally covered with ice. Day by day, the ice melted and sea level rose, and from the Europe, the mainland, people started coming, invading into Britain. But continuous human habitation started long ago. At first come the stone person who makes stone hinges, then gradually Bronze Age, Iron Age, and around 43 AD, Roman Emperor Claudius invaded Britain. Before Claudius, 55 BC, around 55 to 54 BC, Julius Caesar came in Britain. But actually he was not so successful and he had no intention to stay in Britain. So he went back then. So we can divide the earlier period from Old English period, from prehistoric Britain to Old English period. We divide this time frame in three parts. At first, prehistoric Britain. That will take from glacial period to 43 AD with the invasion of Claudius. So to glacial period to 43 AD, it is prehistoric Britain. After 43 AD, till the Romans stayed in Britain, around 350 years Romans stayed in Britain. But around 410 AD, they had to withdraw because they had to go to their own land to save it from the invasion of other Goths and from the invasion of other peoples in their country. So they have to flee to save their own country, leaving this alone. And in the meantime, there was the early inhabitants of Britain. They are known as Celts or Britons. But some time to time they are invaded by various barbaric tribes like Scots, Picts. To save themselves from them, they invited Anglo-Saxons and Jutes to help them. But Anglo-Saxons and Jutes came in Britain around 450 AD and gradually they took the power. They took the throne of Britain. They defeated the Celts and just pushed them at the corner, and they became the most powerful person in Britain. And with their arrival, they started the Anglo-Saxon period, and it continued till 1066. Actually, listen, no age can be start and terminate in a day or in a year. The influence remain before and after. But for the political convenience and for our understanding, we divide the ages in different parts so that it will be helpful for us studying. So Anglo-Saxon and Jutes, they were there, and during the time Scandinavian and Danish attacks were very frequent. Around 1066, particularly in 1066, the Anglo-Saxon periods terminated with the Battle of Hastings or Norman Conquest. The last Saxon king was Harold. Defeating Harold, William of Normandy take the throne and Anglo-Norman period started, and we go to the Middle English period. So now for Old English period, we can divide the Old English period in three parts: prehistoric Britain, Roman Britain and Anglo-Saxon Britain. Prehistoric Britain is from glacial period to 43 AD. Roman Britain is from 43 AD to around 410 AD. And from 410 or 450 AD to 1066, we term it as Anglo-Saxon period. And now it is for Anglo-Saxon period. And for Middle English period, the Middle English period, various persons and critics and historians divide Middle English period in different ways. From 1066 to the birth of Chaucer, we divide it in Anglo-Norman period, because Norman power has already invaded in Britain. And from the previous name Angles, so Anglo-Norman. 1066 to 1340, the birth of Chaucer. Chaucer's lifespan 1340 to 1400. So that is Chaucer's lifespan. So before that, so birth of Chaucer and Norman conquest, this time period we take as Anglo-Norman period. Then from 1340 to 1400, we take is Chaucer's life, Chaucer's period. But here is the problem. One person's name, after naming one person's period, that cannot be end in his death. But till we take it as 1340 to 1400 as Chaucer's period. And after Chaucer, 1400 to 1500, we take it as the dawn of Renaissance, because Renaissance is coming now with its full-fledgedness. So even we can divide the Middle English period with three parts. Anglo-Norman period from 1066 to 1340, age of Chaucer from 1340 to 1400, and then the dawn of Renaissance or age of revival, or after Chaucer, whatever you can say, we can divide it from 1400 to 1500. So now after that there will be full-fledged Renaissance and Elizabethan period, Jacobean period. We'll talk about them later. But now it is clear that Anglo-Saxon period or Old English period, and before that is Roman period, prehistoric period, and then Middle English period. So till Middle English period, the history of Britain or its language or its literature flows in these parts. You can take a division. Prehistoric Britain, from Glacial period to first Roman invasion of Claudius, not Julius Caesar, Claudius. Keep it in mind. From Glacial period to 43 AD, it is termed as prehistoric Britain. From 43 AD to 450 AD around, it is termed as Anglo-Saxon period. It is termed as Roman period. From 43 AD to 450 AD, before the Anglo-Saxon and Jutes came here, it is Roman period. And from 450 AD to 1066 AD, it is termed as Anglo-Saxon period. And after that, so we divide Old English period in three parts. Again for Middle English period, we can divide in three parts. At first, that is Anglo-Norman period, from 1066 to 1340. Then it is age of Chaucer, 1340 to 1400. And then it is dawn of Renaissance or age of revival from 1400 to 1500. Okay, so it is clear. And English language also developed with the course of the literature, with the history, with the social political scenario. Language also developed. At first, Old English language, that was totally full of inflections and Scandinavian influence. When it came in the Norman period, that is Anglo-Norman period, then the inflections go away. And there was too much infusion of French words, Latin words. So it take a new mode and we call it Middle English. So from Old English, there comes a new variation Middle English. And our modern English, it is totally different from them. So with the evolution of society, political scenario, language, literature, everything evolves interdependently, not singly. No, nothing can develop singly. Everything is interdependent. Your society, your political scenario. Suppose the Norman conquest that affect the Anglo-Saxon literature. Norman conquest affect the Old English language. Due to Norman conquest, Old English language took the form of Middle English. So political change also affected the language change, and language change and political change also affected the literature. So to know English literature, we have to understand the development and evolution of language and society and political background. Everything is correlated, interrelated and dependent. So thank you. We will join again in our next video about the next periods.